In this video, we're talking all things weight loss and alcohol. We're going to talk about what type of alcohol is the best and why. We're going to talk about why some people can drink and drink and drink and it doesn't seem to affect them the same way, and why other people only need 2 drinks and they're slightly sloshed. Believe it or not, there is a reason for that. And we'll even talk about how your microbiome can help you metabolize alcohol. Now listen, alcohol has always been a big part of my culture. So if you're trying to lose weight and you don't want to quit alcohol, I totally get it. Because for a very long time, I did not stop drinking alcohol just because I wanted to lose a couple of kilos. But these days, I have actually stopped drinking for the most part. I still have 1 or 2 here and there, but for the most part, I don't drink much anymore. And that's because my body just simply can't handle it. And also, I think that has got something to do with the microdose of Mounjaro that I'm taking. And I'm not the only one to notice that. Apparently, a lot of people have noticed that they simply don't feel like drinking alcohol anymore. I did some research on this, and it's got to do with how GLP-1 medications interact with our dopamine pathway in the brain. So apparently, when you're taking a GLP-1, it interacts with the dopamine pathway, which turns off the reward center. So that's the reason that we don't get food noise. It's the reason that we don't want to drink like we used to. Tell me in the comments if you have tried not drinking at all while you're trying to lose weight, and if you are one of those lucky people that can continue to drink and still lose weight. And if you wouldn't mind, while you're down there in the comments, if you could just tap on that like button for me, I'd really appreciate it. And maybe I'll even buy you a drink if we ever meet in person. Now, I don't know if you noticed my thumbnail or not, but that is actually a real photo taken of me at a Christmas party, happily, slightly sloshed. Seriously, in Australia, alcohol is such a big part of our culture. We drink all the time. And for every social occasion, there is alcohol involved. It's such a big part of our culture. And I used to indulge in alcohol so much that my ex-mother-in-law used to call me her little drinking buddy. And every birthday, still to this day, everybody gives me alcohol. So what does that tell you? But I don't drink dark spirits, and this is why. Dark spirits have compounds in them called congeners. It's a very weird word, but basically what it means is that congeners are byproducts of fermentation and aging, and it's basically what gives dark spirits their color and flavor. So this is why I do not drink red wine or dark spirits, and especially while you're trying to lose weight. It's because the congeners have a high proportion of methanol, and methanol is toxic to the body. So what happens when we drink dark spirits is our liver has to process the methanol first before it even starts to process the ethanol, which is the alcohol. And of course, while our liver is very busily trying to get rid of the toxicity of methanol, our liver is not processing any other nutrients either. It is literally trying to keep us alive. So methanol converts to formaldehyde in the human body. Formaldehyde as in the stuff used to preserve dead things, which is probably why when alcoholics get liver disease, it's probably got something to do with all of that formaldehyde in their system. I'm just guessing. I don't know, but that's what I'm guessing. A study actually compared bourbon drinkers to gin and vodka drinkers, because both gin and vodka are white spirits. So white spirits don't have the congeners that dark spirits and red wine does. So anyway, a study was done on dark spirit drinkers versus vodka drinkers, and both groups were given exactly the same amount of alcohol. And what the study was trying to determine was how are these alcohols metabolized differently and what's the effect overall. And they found the effect was the vodka drinkers fared much better than the dark spirit drinkers. And that was because the people drinking dark spirits had a really severe hangover. And that's probably because their body was so busy processing all of the methanol. And so the next day, their body's still processing ethanol, whereas vodka doesn't have all of those compounds. And so your body can just process it much faster. And so you don't end up with the same type of hangover. Red wine has some congeners in it as well. And that's why it has its own special flavor of hangover, whereas vodka has almost none of these compounds. And it's as close to pure alcohol as you can possibly get because it's literally just ethanol and water. But you do want a really well distilled vodka, obviously. So if you're trying to lose weight and you don't want the terrible hangover effect, these are the best drinks to have. And I'm going to put them in order. So vodka is top of the list, number 1. White wine, and you want a dry white wine, is number 2. Beer is number 3. Red wine comes in next. And then last is dark spirits. They're on the damage yourself list, right? If you're trying to lose weight, you might be interested in my free ebook download. I will put the link in the description. It is an ebook on weight loss and nutrition, and it is great for anyone on a GLP-1 or not. So it's in the description and the pinned comment if you're interested in having a look. So what are the best drinks to have if you're going to be drinking vodka? I would say this is what I do. I drink vodka and soda with a slice of fruit. And I think that's pretty well known now that if you're trying to lose weight and you're not willing to stop drinking, vodka and soda is a good way to go because not only are you not getting any sugar with that drink and extra calories, but you're also hydrating your body as well. So you're less likely to get a hangover. And I don't really get hangovers from vodka, which is probably why I used to love drinking so much. You know what? People are going to absolutely hammer me for this, but it's a true fact. I water down my white wine. Only because white wine really affects me. I end up stuffy in the nose. Like the next morning, I wake up stuffy. I have inflammation. I look puffy, so I just don't like having wine most of the time. So when I do have it, I water it down to try and decrease those effects. So some interesting facts about why people can drink more than others. There's an enzyme in our liver and in our gut by the name of alcohol dehydrogenase. And what that does is it breaks up the alcohol so that we can metabolize it more quickly, right? Some people have a lot more of this enzyme, and that's why they can drink and drink and drink, and they don't look drunk or anything. And then other people can have 2 drinks and they're slightly sloshed and very, very happy. So it all comes down to the enzyme and the amount that we have. Other factors are apparently after the age of 55, our enzyme, alcohol dehydrogenase, decreases as we age. So at 55, you can only usually get away with drinking half as much as you could when you were 25 to feel the same effects. But hey, at least we're saving money, right? And the microbiome. So there is emerging research suggesting that the gut microbiome and certain gut bacteria also produces alcohol dehydrogenase, which might help us to metabolize alcohol as well. So here are the downsides of drinking whilst you're trying to lose weight. Alcohol is calorie dense. We all know that, right? It's got just less calories per gram than fat does. Fat's got 9 calories per gram. Alcohol has 7 calories per gram. This is another reason that I stuck with vodka with no added sugar because like 1 nip is not many calories. I think if memory serves, I think it's about 70 calories. But, you can have a couple of drinks and get away with it if you're not getting inflamed. Like if you're under 40 and you're not getting inflammation and you're not going through menopause yet, you can probably get away with it a lot easier than we can once we hit menopause. Also, there's the carefree factor when we drink. And I think we've all been here. You're out, you're having a great time, you've had 6 drinks or something, and now it hits midnight and the kebab down the road is smelling really, really good. I don't know how many Friday nights at midnight or 1 a.m. I went for a walk to go and get myself a kebab because I'd been drinking all night and I just wanted to get some food into my gut. So we tend to care less. And then there's the next day when you're tired because alcohol interrupts our sleep, and it specifically interrupts our REM sleep and our deep sleep cycles. So when we wake up, not only are we hungover, but we did not get a restful sleep. And here's the problem. That also increases ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone, and it decreases leptin, which is the hormone that tells us that we're satisfied, and it increases cortisol because we're lacking in sleep. So our body is under stress. And probably we're still trying to metabolize the leftover ethanol running through our veins. And here's another interesting thing that I never actually knew before, but alcohol suppresses muscle protein synthesis. I don't think it actually breaks down muscle, which, to be honest, back in the day when I was going out every Friday night, if you had said to me it stops protein synthesis, I would have thought that's a fair deal. Like, okay, I'll take no protein synthesis for Saturday to go out and have fun on Friday. I think that's a good trade-off, you know? And then there's the French paradox. Really interesting. So remember, I don't know what it was, like maybe 10 years ago, they came out with the French paradox of how much the French drink and yet they were healthiest, right? And so then this rumor got started about how drinking's not unhealthy and we should all be having a couple of glasses of red wine every day. Well, I'm glad I never listened to that because apparently that has been debunked and newer research has come back and said that those health benefits are largely nothing to do with alcohol, but more to do with the healthier lifestyle that people are having. It's probably actually stress relief. If they're drinking at lunch and dinner, why would you be stressed? And the research is also saying that the healthiest level of alcohol intake is 0. So if you're going to keep drinking whilst you're losing weight, hey, no judgment here. I would have too. If you're going to do that, just make sure that you're taking a good multivitamin to give your body what it needs to recover from the drinking, and try and make sure that you're having vodka with no sugar. You know, like sugar-free mixes are the way to go so that you're not inhibiting weight loss or gaining weight while you're drinking. So let's talk about GLP-1 medications and alcohol. So this is really interesting. The GLP-1 medications were never designed to stop people from drinking, right? But because people have been reporting to the healthcare practitioners that they don't feel like drinking anymore, they've now started researching why this is. And so it turns out it's actually got more to do with the dopamine pathway than it does anything else, because we have GLP-1 receptors in our brain, not only our gut. And I uncovered some other really interesting things when I was researching this, which I'll talk about in another video. But they're now researching whether they can isolate those receptors to now treat addictions. So things like alcohol addiction, gambling, sex addiction, all of that sort of stuff. Wouldn't that be interesting if in 5 years we are using GLP-1 medications to treat addictions? So apparently the clinical trials are now underway to find out if you can use GLP-1 medications for alcoholism. So if you're taking a GLP-1, the biggest thing that we need to watch is hypoglycemia. And I know that this is true for my body because when I tried out the CGM, which I did a video on, I'll put it right here for you if you're interested in watching that. When I was wearing my CGM, I did have a night of drinking and I was drinking vodka with collagen water, you know, trying to stay a little bit healthy whilst I was drinking. And that night I noticed, because I just put on the CGM, I noticed that my blood sugar went very low very quickly. So I was drinking and dancing and having a great old time. And then I looked at my phone because, you know, the CGM gives you an alert when your blood sugar is going low. And my blood sugar was quite low. And I couldn't understand at the time what that was. But since then, I have found other people say the same thing, that their blood sugar goes low when they drink alcohol and they can see it on their CGMs. So I think if you're using a GLP-1 to lose weight, that is something to be aware of, especially if you don't have a CGM to let you know. Because honestly, that night, if I didn't have the CGM on, I would have thought that I was just drunk and happy. But then I started thinking, well, maybe I'm not drunk. Maybe I've just got low blood sugar and that's why I feel so woozy, you know? The other thing with drinking alcohol and taking a GLP-1 is apparently it increases the risk of pancreatitis. And of course, dehydration is amplified because when we're taking a GLP-1, we're likely already a little bit dehydrated just because we've reduced the amount of food and drink we're taking in. So that's something to keep in mind. So I'm going to leave this video here for you that I did on NAD, because I think if you're taking a GLP-1 and you want more energy, NAD would probably benefit you, but go through the video because I've put side effects and safety risks and all of that in there as well. And I've explained exactly how it works to like drastically increase energy levels. And I'll put the CGM video up here as well if you're interested in that. There's actually a lot of information about nutrition and stabilizing blood sugars for weight loss in that video. So you might be interested in that if you are trying to lose weight right now. Okay, well, happy drinking if you're going to keep consuming. And I will see you in one of those videos.
Smarternuthub Nutrition.